from WBBZ-TV Sports. It's time to beat the champ. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Peck and Sue Novoitsky.
Welcome to Beat the Champ, our second stop here at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. My name is Paul Peck with Hall of Fame bowler Sue Novoitsky and Janelle Sabin. Week number 2 here at Kerns Avenue, Sue. Our returning champion is Tyler Molina, an impressive young bowler. What'd you see from Tyler in the first week? What do you expect to see from him today?
I saw shot making when he needed to make a shot. And that is really big when you're competing against in a one-on-one match. He had to go up and double on a lane that he hadn't struck on before, and he came up and he did it. So he's got a strong mental game. On
the list of opponents today, Mike Mallwitz, Jeff Pohlman, Jerry Lewandowski. We have had a lot of fun with Mike Mallwitz over the years. He's one of the most entertaining bowlers in Western New York. Let's see, in the past, he's hugged you, lifted you, and stolen your marker. What are you waiting for today?
Honestly, I have no idea what to expect, but I'm ready.
All right, well, I'm glad you're ready. How about the bowlers, Sue? Keys to success for them today?
Again, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be managing the drier lane condition, because as we've gone on, it's gotten a little bit drier. Ball speed and making your spares.
All right, first match is Tyler Molina and Mike Mallwitz. It will be entertaining, so let's get rolling. Mallwitz on the right and Tyler Molina on the left. Our first match of the day here, week number 2 at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. And Tyler Molina will lead things off after an impressive 2 victories last week in his debut on Beat the Champ, Sue, and took to it pretty easily, wound up beating a red-hot Terry Parson, and then comes up with the victory over fellow young gun Chad Mee. So Tyler Molina's on a nice little 2-0 roll so far.
Yeah, take a quick look. This might be the only time that he outcolors Mike Mallwitz.
Yep, as you might be able to tell, a Canisius College grad is Tyler Molina, sporting the Argyle blue and gold, the Griff's colors. And now we get a look at Mike Mallwitz, one of the most experienced Beat the Champ bowlers that we have here on the show here at Kerns Avenue. This is Mike making his 4th appearance, 1 win and 3 losses. Hasn't been on the show since Jamestown a couple of months ago, so it's good to have Mike back. And as we talked about, Mike is one of the true personalities in Buffalo bowling.
Yeah, I think.
And a heck of a bowler. Let's not overshadow the fact that he's one heck of a bowler, too.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
But in all seriousness, he's a great proponent for Beat the Champ. You know, he's very colorful. He comes to all the qualifiers. He gets everybody going on it, encourages everybody to come and bowl, as they should, because it's a fun experience.
He's got those 2 pins stacked one on top of each other. Let's see if he can pull off the spare here. Little hook.
Do you remember what that is?
Oh, you know, no. I kind of do, but I don't. I don't want to guess wrong.
What?
The spare. You can call it a sleeper.
The sleeper, right, because you can't see the pin behind it,
Or
right.
they can sometimes call it a soldier.
The soldier. That was the voice of Whitey Heidenberg, legendary Buffalo bowling proprietor and the executive, you like that, Whitey? Executive secretary of the Buffalo Bowling Proprietors Association. And Whitey's going to join us for a little while here to talk a little bit about his career, about history of bowling in Buffalo, and particularly at this place, because your history goes all the way back 60 years to the beginning of Kerns Avenue Bowling. Let's watch Mike Mallwitz pull off the strike here in the 2nd frame. And now back to Tyler Molina, the 25-year-old from Cheektowaga, New York, works at the Lawley Insurance Group. He has been bowling since he's 4 years old, and you see the impressive 232 average for Tyler. And among the many achievements in his outstanding bowling career is helping to restart the bowling program at Canisius College. What we saw from Tyler in last week's show was a lot of that, Sue,
right.
But a pretty good ability to adjust to the always tricky lane conditions here at Kerns Avenue.
Right, he went through a little transition and had to move his feet, his eyes, whatever he had to do. We were talking about the 3 keys to success, and that was going to come into play when it comes to the lanes changing on the wood condition. They changed a little faster, and he managed to figure it out right at the exact right time there in the 10th frame.
So first 2 strikes in the first 2 frames for Tyler Molina, and we move to the 3rd frame for Tyler. And another strike for Tyler Molina. Well, Whitey, I mentioned it briefly. You've got a very interesting perspective. Aside from the fact that you've been involved in bowling all your life here in Western New York at a very high level, I'm the only non-Hall of Famer in this group shot here. You two guys are. All right, thank you, Whitey. I appreciate that. But your family is the one that started what was then the Ideal Lanes and is now Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. Tell us about it.
This is our, would be the 60th year of Ideal Bowling Lane. And in those days, we were full days and nights, midnight bowling, you know, and when you were involved in bowling, and somebody can tell you that, the older guys, it was a full-time job. And it is now too, but it was just a little different than many years ago. We didn't have junior leagues and we didn't have senior leagues in those days. Most of the bowling was league bowling.
Mike Mallwitz had the strike in the third frame. Here he is moving to the fourth, trying to keep the pressure on Tyler Molina. And look at that, we got another sleeper.
There you go.
You see, I'm a quick learner, right? See why? I'm a quick learner. So Mike will have to work on that. Well, so obviously that was a different era. Late 50s was a different era in the city of Buffalo, different era in the sport, different era in the population base and the economy. You know, I mean, this was the center of town in a lot of ways, wasn't it?
And the number of centers were remarkably more.
If I recalled from the first time we were here, and it may have been you, that said there were 6 or 7 bowling alleys within a mile or two from this location here on the east side.
You could have walked them within an hour. You could have hit maybe 5 or 6 bowling centers.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah. A little different era in Buffalo history. But what do you remember as this place was being built and getting started? And what are your memories of that?
1957, and we opened late that year. We opened in November because of building problems and so forth. And we were on Bailey Avenue before that, and every league that was on Bailey came over and bowled here. As a matter of fact, lanes 13 and 14, they came from the old lanes, old center on Bailey Avenue. The 16 lanes, those are older ones, yeah. You can imagine how old they were.
What was the name of that bowling center?
The what? Ideal Lanes.
Oh, they were both Ideal Lanes?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Tyler Molina's stretch of 4 consecutive strikes to open the match comes to an end with the 3-pin that gets hung up here in the 5th frame for Tyler. Well, Whitey, we talked in last week's show to the proprietor here, Dan Adams, and Dan's done a wonderful job in getting this place up and running, but I would assume there are a few things that you might look around here and go, I remember that from back in the day.
Or I don't remember that. We didn't have all the colorful the colorful stuff up in front at all. You know, it was just plain said AMF. But it looks great. He's done a terrific job.
Yeah, you mean if we looked around hard, we wouldn't find a WH initials carved somewhere around this place?
No.
All right, back to Mike Mallwitz now. 4th frame for Mike, or correction, 5th frame. A nice strike there. So these two guys are going at it pretty good here. Even though Tyler got off to that hot start, Mike is keeping the pressure on him.
This feels like a good time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more action on Beat the Champ. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
Tyler, how'd you feel about bowling on TV here on Beat the Champ?
It was kind of nerve-wracking at first, but once you got the first strike in the pocket, it was a little better after that. Just kind of lay some groundwork, and it was easier from there.
Do you hear all the crowd noises? Do you hear the talking, or do you kind of block that out?
You hear it in the background. It's just just kind of block it out, and helps to have some talking going on as you're bowling. Because when it's just really quiet, like when someone's going for a 300, that's almost too quiet. So I'd like to have some commotion in the background.
Right. So our talking isn't bothering you?
Not yet.
Okay, well,
don't worry.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Mike, we haven't seen you in a while. What's been going on with you?
Just working a lot. The holidays are busy at the bowling center. We got holiday parties galore. It's great. It's been fun, but I'm missing Beat the Champ like hardcore.
Is Janelle safe today?
That's to be determined.
Actually, when you came out to qualify, what did you see here at Kerns Lanes?
A great bowling center. Dan does a great job here. The food is phenomenal. The lemon pepper wings, I recommend them highly. Amazing. We have good wings, but these are really close. So I got to give him props on that. But yeah, overall, like the place is clean, great, awesome. I would come bowling here every day.
All right. Well, good luck today.
Thanks.
It's bowling is such a social sport. It may be the most social sport, and that's a little bit of what you're talking about, I think.
Yeah, and it's this young man here bowling started at 4 years old, and that's what you can do with bowling.
Boy, that was a much-needed strike for Mike Mallwitz, and he thought about it momentarily, bothering Janelle there, but he's focused on his bowling.
He needs a double first. He can't do anything before he gets a double.
Much-needed eighth frame strike. So Tyler still has a chance to keep the pressure on him as he moves towards the eighth frame. There's our Castellone scoreboard.
I really want to allude to what Whitey said, because it's very true. Bowling is, I define it as community, which is exactly what he's saying. I mean, you could walk into a bowling center anywhere and be able to sit down and have a conversation with the person next to you, or the person at the counter, or the person behind the bar, or in the restaurant, or whatever. And the bowling centers that create community are the ones that are doing well. Like I said, I was here for the qualifier, and this whole place was full, and everybody knew each other, and everybody was, sharing wings and, buying each other pops or whatever they were having. And it is a sense of community.
I was just sitting over in the audience here, congregation. You mentioned one name, and the guy next door talks about somebody else he remembers. And it's like that all up. Every time you get a group of people together, you say, "Oh, you bowl?" "Oh, yeah, I bowled here." Well, they all seem to get to know somebody who's been in the bowling business as bowlers or proprietors.
Big strike in the ninth frame here for Tyler Molina.
Well, last week we had Kevin Volker on the show.
Oh, yeah.
His dad, John Volker, was a customer of mine where I worked in the late 80s, and now he's got a grown-up son on the show that, I'm co-hosting. So we're going all the way back to the late 80s where I know that family, and it's just how bowling is.
All right, so what's Mike facing here as he moves to the ninth frame, Sue?
Mike needs to strike to get this match within 10, or to attempt to get this match, within 20.
Nice easy throw.
Perfect.
And the big results he needed. Nice strike for Mike Mallwitz in the ninth frame.
Mike needs to keep striking, but he really is.
Yeah.
Even another strike here puts pressure on Tyler.
Yeah, that Tyler's start of those first 4 strikes kind of set him up to leave Mike playing catch-up for most of this match, and he's putting the pressure on, but it's pressure at the moment, and Tyler's got a chance to alleviate that depending when he gets his chance.
What a great shot.
Good shot by Mike Mallwitz.
So
37 years old from Grand Island, of course, runs the family business, which is Mallwitz's Island Lanes, and Mike's been a wonderful supporter here, beat the champ throughout the entire run of the show, and as we said, pretty good bowler in himself, in his own right as well.
That strike puts some pressure on Tyler now. Now Tyler cannot win without good count and a spare. If another strike here, and Tyler's going to have to match Mike.
Oh, is that a bad break?
Just, all right, well, you did a nice job there, Mike, but that could be a crucial one. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So Mike will have to grab that 7th frame to finish off the spare here and post the final score up. So So Mike finishes it off with the spare. And a 226. Good, solid performance by Mike Mallwitz to, as you said, Sue, put the pressure on Tyler Molina.
So Tyler's back in the position he was the last time he was finishing a match, and that is being up on lane 10. And he has to double to win. He can still tie. So we'll start with the first one. He needs this first one.
So he did it last week. 3 straight strikes to finish off the win over Chad Mee. There's the first one.
Well, that looks familiar.
Sure does.
Pretty cool for a young.
Yeah, I was going to say, Whitey, cool customer, and the pressure does not seem to bother Tyler Molina.
He needed that one to win, and he got that.
As Sue succinctly said last week, if you're going to wear that outfit, you better be able to respond to the pressure.
Yeah, but it is Canisius College. Oh, boy.
It did matter.
Doesn't matter. So it's going to be a win for Tyler Molina. He'll have to finish off that spare to post the final score up, but it's going to be 3 in a row now for Tyler Molina. Last 2 wins of our last week's show, and now 1 win here. And the Argyle Pants will live on for another match. Final score on the board for Tyler Molina, a 235 to 226 win over Mike Mallwitz. We've had a couple of great matches in a row here, and Tyler's been right in the middle of it. He is really a cool customer.
He really is. He needs. That's the second time we see him do the same exact thing. So I'm pretty impressed with his mental game.
All right. Well, Whitey's going to stick around for our next match. We'll talk to Mike and get his take on how this one went and preview our next one. We return. It's Beat the Champ at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. Back right after this. Well, a tough loss for Mike Mallwitz as Tyler Molina answered the bell there again in the 10th frame. He's done that a couple of times. You bowled well, but there's not much you can do. A little helpless, isn't it, sometimes?
A little bit. You know, I kind of got a little hose on that 7th pin there, but he came through and he needed it and he got it, just like he did last time. So, you know, props to him. He's a great young bowler. Take
that up with the proprietor. Don't tell me all about it. You were on your best, Dan. You were on your best behavior as well too.
Well, you know, it's hard to be the Mike Mallwitz when you're not winning the match. You know?
No, I get it. I get it. You know your time and place. All right, Dan Adams, the proprietor of the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center, here to give Mike a little bit of spending money.
On behalf of Kerns and the Proprietors Association, you know the drill. You've been around completely. And I thank you so much personally for all the help that you've given me and keeping this thing going here at Kerns. Here you go.
Thanks, Dan.
And I thank you so much, man.
Always my pleasure to come here.
All right, man. Thank you, Dan.
All right. Always good to see you. I'm sure we'll catch you pretty soon down the road. But the red-hot Tyler Molina's got another match. He'll take on Jeff Pohlman. We'll have that one when we return. It's Beat the Champ at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. Back to Buffalo right after this.
Jeff, I bowled qualifying next to you.
Absolutely.
I know how good you bowled. But tell us a little bit about the lane condition.
Well, I had a pretty good look the second time I bowled, so the first time was pretty disastrous, but once I read the lanes, you got to get pretty deep inside, so you'll see a bunch of the righties going pretty deep off the left gutter through the middle, just catching that oil on the wood, and then using those back ends to come in powerful.
But you do notice there's a little bit different approach to this bowling center being wood lanes, and you saw the scoring condition to be a little different?
Yeah, and I'm certainly not one of the younger guys, so I grew up on the wood, bowling at Sheridan Lanes, so I enjoy bowling on it and feel I might have an advantage.
Well, I know for a fact how good you can bowl on this. I saw it happen, so good luck today.
All right, thanks, Sue.
Second match of the day here at Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. Our returning winner, Tyler Molina, will take on Jeff Pohlman. And Tyler is on a roll here, Sue. 3 wins in a row, and as we talked about, the last 2 coming down to him needing to make strikes in the 10th frame to win, and he has done it. So for his opponent, Jeff Pohlman, I think the key here is to build a little bit of a lead and spin that around and not leave yourself susceptible to Tyler's 10th frame, success.
It looks that way, doesn't it?
But the part of that also goes with Tyler getting off to very good starts in all of his matches.
Again, his ball speed has been key. He's got a very, very high ball speed, and it's enabling him to stay in that spot of the lane where he can create that angle that gets a lot of carry.
Jeff Pohlman is 43 years old from Clarence Center, a financial advisor at AXA Advisors here in Western New York. This is Jeff's 3rd Beat the Champ show appearance. Looking for his first Beat the Champ victory. He has bowled at both Batavia and the Rapids Bowling Center all in the last couple of months. At Beat the Champ TV, hashtag Beat the Champ, and like us on the Beat the Champ Facebook page for all of the updated stats and comments and schedules and everything you need to know about our next month's trip to Transit Lanes. And if you're interested in qualifying, we certainly can find out all the information you need to know there. So those are your best places to get your information on social media at the Twitter and the Facebook page. So after Jeff throws his first ball and leaves the 10-pin, we are joined once again by Eugene Whitey Heidenberg, legendary bowling proprietor and Hall of Famer here in Western New York, and the man whose family actually started this Kerns Avenue Bowling Center back when it was Ideal Lanes. You see, this is what you find out when you get a little downtime. You told us that you used to actually live above this bowling alley.
Yeah, my mother, when it was built, there's 2 apartments, so they're large apartments, and my mother and dad lived up there. And we were talking about the noise at the noise and the lanes, and you got used to it. It was noisy up there for the first couple of weeks. After that, you paid no attention to it. But it's noisier in here than a lot of other bowling centers. We don't know exactly why, but the fact that it's maybe smaller than some of the ones would make a difference too.
Yeah, I think it's some of the smaller, the acoustics are a little better. Makes for good TV. Sounds great on TV, particularly when guys like Tyler Molina are pounding those pins into the back of the lane. It sounds great. So, but like you said, a lot of history here, and it's great hearing some of the stories that you've been telling us with based on your history here. So Jeff Pohlman's got to finish off his first frame spare after the strike put on the board by Tyler Molina. And Jeff gets the spare. When you lived upstairs, did you practice a lot? Did you come down and bowl a lot?
I didn't bowl a lot. I started bowling in 1946. I had old Ideal Lane when I got out of the service. We had a Sunday league, 5-man league, 16, and a waiting list at 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. The Bills television took care of that for after.
Right. Second frame for Jeff Pohlman, and a nice strike for Jeff. Got his parents Joe and Sandy cheering him on. We've seen Jeff's brother Joe be a Beat the Champ successful winner before in our first year of action. So Jeff's got to keep up with the brother there and get a couple of wins himself. Back to Tyler Molina for his second frame. 25 years old from Cheektowaga, New York. And on a nice little 3-match winning streak so far.
Wow.
Boy.
How's that sound for you, Whitey?
It does. That's quite loud.
That might have awakened you. That one.
No, it broke 3 pins down there.
You might have rolled right out of bed on one of those.
Oh yeah.
Whitey, what's been obviously there's been a ton of innovations and changes in the bowling industry since you've been involved for all those years, but what are some of the most important ones in your mind and the most significant ones?
Well, one of them is the racks that we used to use to set the pins up. We used to throw the pins into the racks, pull the racks down with our hand, and so just the AMF machines in themselves, or the Brunswick machines, was, I think, maybe one of the biggest differences in the. We used to see. You used to rent the machines from AMF and Brunswick. You rented them and you paid by the line. Now they used to come in every week and read the numbers off the machine, and that's how you paid for the machines.
How many games were bowled on each lane?
Exactly
and
right. And then
Wow.
then AMF offered the opportunity to buy them. And when they read the numbers, you couldn't cheat.
Wow.
We're going to be back with more Beat the Champ bowling action in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
Ninth frame for Jeff Pohlman. Trying to hang in here in this one. Gets the hook, gets the wobble, and that 7-pin. Whitey might have left a piece of gum stuck on there from when he was a kid. Yeah. On the bottom of that one. Is it a little bit? Is it? What are your emotions when you come back in here, Whitey? I mean, you've been here probably 100 times since then, but to come back to a place where you kind of grew up and you've got so many memories, what's that like for you?
It's fun. Come back, and Dan has done such a good job with this bowling center that it's just nice to come back to a place that's this old and has had this many memories for me.
Yeah, and as we talked about earlier, the changing population and demographics of the city in the 50s, most people lived in the city, and there was very little in Lancaster and Clarence and in the suburbs. It was a city-based population. Obviously, that changed in the late 50s and 60s, and things started to spread out, and that's why, when Whitey said there was 6 or 7 bowling alleys within a mile of here, the population didn't allow that to continue. So, in a lot of ways, you could kind of look at this sport as it tells a story of the way the city has changed. And, I can't help but think that we just celebrated, and it was got a lot of attention, the 40th anniversary of the blizzard of 77.
Wow, yeah.
Makes you think about what the history of the city was. And Whitey, feel free to tell me a good blizzard of 77 story if you got one of those as well, too. But when you look at the pictures and you see the neighborhoods and the cars, it really makes you sort of reminisce a little bit.
Of course, we were closed.
Yeah, I'll say there weren't a bunch of people trapped in here that just took advantage of it?
Yeah, we had to walk every place, and the ruts where the people were walking were obvious, and it was sort of fun in a way. Everybody was in the same boat. You'd see the neighbors just waving, no cars, and you could go any place but the auto. Everything was walking, but we had a good time.
I agree. I remember the blizzard of 77. And I lived in the city. I lived, not far from here, actually.
205 on the board for Jeff Pohlman. But it looks like Tyler Molina is going to keep his winning streak alive.
Yes, he is, and he does not have to strike out for this one.
Right. You weren't living here in 77, right? You weren't here at the bowling center, were you?
Oh no.
I'm saying that would be the place to get stuck in your house if you could go downstairs and go bowling.
I was here in 77.
Were you?
Yes, I was. I said we were closed. I lived upstairs, and yeah.
You had something to do at least. Yeah. And a lot of food.
We had Mike Blabb's restaurant right across the street over here. A German restaurant. Yeah.
So actually, we were talking about bowling centers being close by here. Mike Mallwitz's family had a bowling center right around the block, right?
They're right around the corner over,
Was that Schiller Park Lanes?
Pardon me?
That was Schiller Park Lanes at the time? Was it Schiller Park?
Yeah. But Mike's mother and dad. Mike's dad was a musician, and on Friday nights they used to have music Friday and Saturday night.
So that's where Mike gets his entertainment skills, huh?
That's something we didn't know.
Right. How about Tyler Molina putting up 10 strikes in the match for a final score of 259, a 259 to 205 win over Jeff Pohlman. And I'm telling you, every match that keeps going on, you keep getting more impressed with Tyler Molina.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right. Well, we'll talk to Jeff Pohlman, who once again runs into one of the hottest. He seems to always run into the hottest bowler in town. Yeah. We'll talk to Jeff, and we'll get you ready for another match to see if Tyler Molina can keep it going. It's BTC at the KABC. And we're back right after this. Well, Jeff Pohlman and I were doing the quick math, and we think that your opponent's average in the 3 matches on Beat the Champ is maybe well over 250. There's not much you can do when Tyler Molina puts a 259 on you today.
Well, sometimes strikes are the name of the game. Today was it for me. Carry, pocket 710 cost me a little bit on a double, so it's just, and Tyler ran away with it. He's throwing a great ball, though, so I can't take it away from him. He had a great match.
Keep up the good qualifying, and one of these days that 205 is going to get you a win and move you on. But at the very least, Dan Adams from here at Kerns Avenue Bowling Center got a little bit of a prize for you.
Guys like you, man, is what keeps us going, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right, ready?
All right, thanks to Dan, thanks to Jeff Pohlman, Tyler Molina. Can he keep it rolling? Jerry Lewandowski is the next opponent. We get you that match when we return on Beat the Champ.
Hi, Jerry. Have you bowled in this bowling center before you qualified for Beat the Champ?
I bowled here around 25 years ago in I think it was the city tournament. And that was the only time I've ever bowled here.
So what made you come to bowl the qualifier here this month?
I've been bowling pretty well, and I decided to come out, and I just gave it a try, and I got lucky enough to make it.
Absolutely. So you've been bowling well. And did you notice anything different about this lane condition than you do at maybe your house shot where you normally bowl?
Not really. It's pretty consistent, and if I can make the shot, I should score. But you know, with the lights and the cameras, I've never bowled on TV, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, we have a first timer here on TV. All right. Well, good luck today.
Thank you.
Final match of the day features Tyler Molina going for his 5th consecutive victory against Jerry Lewandowski, making his Beat the Champ debut, and it will be Tyler that will start things off. And Sue, you can't be anything but impressed with how well he is bowling and how strong a bowler he is. And you know, here he is on a 4-match winning streak, and he's averaging over 230.
No, you can only have good things to say about Tyler.
And he seems to have, well, and I think it goes to the keys to success. Sue's secrets to success, powering through, and ball speed on these lane conditions takes all those other things out of the mix. And it's pretty clear the one thing that Tyler does well is throw a ball very, very hard.
Right, and making your spares too. I mean, he's been lucky, fortunate enough to strike a lot, but when he hasn't, he's been very solid on his spares.
Now a little bit of a radically different style from Jerry Lewandowski, but the same results from the 52-year-old from West Seneca. Again, first appearance on Beat the Champ for Jerry, 229 average for him.
Jerry's got a reasonable amount of ball speed too. If I wouldn't have seen Tyler bowling, I would have thought he had a lot of ball speed, but Tyler just has a tremendous amount of ball speed.
Jerry seems a little more of a finesse as you watch his approach, and not as much of a backswing, which we tend to see from the younger guys. Actually, very little backswing at all.
Good shot.
You know what? Doesn't matter how you knock him down, just knock him down. Jerry bowls a couple of nights a week in the West Seneca area, subs in another day a week around town. 4 300 career games, 796 high series.
He's got good average, 233 at Wimbledon and a morning league. That's you probably have seen a few challenging conditions.
So strike spare in the first 2 frames for Jerry Lewandowski, and here's Tyler Molina.
You know, one thing I would talk about with Tyler, and it alludes to college bowling, because, you know, as a college bowler myself, you get, it's a different, even though it's a different mental game to bowl team, you feel like you're carrying the other people on you. So when you go up to bowl, you don't want to let your 4 teammates down. So you get used to a certain amount of pressure, and you get used to, you know, needing to go up and strike and really wanting to strike because you got that behind you of people relying on you. And it almost makes it easier when you're bowling for yourself because you're used to that kind of pressure. It's less pressure, so you handle what other people would find to be a pressure situation easier because you've held up teams.
Do you think that comes into play in the fact that we've seen Tyler Molina, last week's last match, today's first match, have to go into the 10th frame needing to double and doing it? You think that prepared him for that?
Absolutely. That's what came to mind when I saw him make those shots, because, you know, I'm looking at him in his college shirt, so, you know, it kind of takes my mind back to college. And yeah, when you're going up there and you're the anchor bowler for a college team and you've got 4 people standing behind you to cheer for that shot, you know how to, like, rev up your metabolism, and you know how to handle that pressure and channel it.
And a nice strike and a nice answer from Jerry Lewandowski in the 3rd frame. Good crowd of the Lewandowskis on hand. His wife, Dale, his son, Jerry III, his daughter, Allison, his mom, his sister, and a couple of his buddies here cheering him on. A little bit of a different approach for us on Beat the Champ in that this is the first time we have taped on a Saturday.
Right.
Normally our tapings have been in the middle of the week. But what it's allowed us to do, and it's been very clear to us already, is we've got good crowds on hand. People are not working. It's not Wednesday. So we've gotten much better crowds. You can hear that. You can see that. All the bowlers have 3 or 4 or 5 people. You know, I think you felt like it opened up qualifying to another group of bowlers that hadn't been able to qualify because they didn't think they could get off of work on a Wednesday had they made the show.
Yeah, and it showed in the entries, really. I mean, they're pretty close to 200 entries this month, and it just shows you that Beat the Champ is going strong. And now we kind of opened the door to some new faces.
So Tyler Molina has opened with 3 consecutive strikes, and this is frame number 4. He has started all but one of his matches with a strike, and that is now 2 of the last 3 that he has started with 4 strikes.
Wow, what can you say? You know, I watched that shot and I thought it got a little bit to the left on him, like a little bit more to where it was even drier, and his ball speed and ball selection compensated for that. So he's got a good look out there.
We've talked an awful lot about Tyler's attire. We've talked about that, but what it really has to do with the fact that he was a bowler on the Canisius College bowling team. Helped start it with a couple of his buddies 4 or 5 years ago, and obviously has a lot of pride in that and has a lot of pride in his school. Go Griffs. And right now, Mr. Griff, Tyler Molina, is on a roll. 5 strikes to start this match off. And he'll make the turn here heading to the 6th frame. Perfect. Jerry Lewandowski's had strikes in 2 of his 3, but he's already way behind. Making 3 of his 4.
The action will continue on Beat the Champ in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
Just making a lot of X's up there.
And the streak comes to an end.
Just a little bit high on that one.
3-pin hangs up for Tyler to end the streak of 7 consecutive strikes. And now, with 1 simple pin, this match, the focus of this match changes a little bit.
Yep. Jerry is actually +1.
How about that? Amazing. Spare for Tyler in the 8th. And now he'll slide over to lane number 9. And like you said, he goes from opening with 7 consecutive strikes to now being behind.
Yep.
Amazing.
Got to give Jerry credit for coming in here and keeping that pressure on. But
Unbelievable. In his debut, in his Beat the Champ debut. We got a lot of lefties today, and this has been another good lefty versus lefty matchup.
no matter what Tyler does here, Oh, wow. That is a terrible break. That is the, well, for the right-handers, it's equivalent of 4-9. That's the 6-8. And it's capable, you can slide it over. You just got to hit it to the right side of the 6-pin. And
So the right
it's
side
a makeable
of the 6
spare.
and kick it over to the left.
And he needs to make it at this point.
Didn't do it. Got to the right side, but didn't kick it over. So it's back-to-back spares for Tyler Molina in 8 and 9, and now it's Jerry Lewandowski to finish it out and keep his streak alive, which right now is 6 consecutive strikes. Yeah, he didn't like it. You could tell. And that's each guy dealing with their own challenges.
Well, tell me this, you know, we all know this, but this is a game of emotion. And channeling your emotions is just so important. And while that pressure was still on, you're still amping it up. And as soon as that pressure comes off, this is pretty common. This can happen.
So it's an open frame off the split in the 9th for Jerry Lewandowski. And now he'll go to the 10th, and boy, as quick as it turned 2 frames ago, it turns again.
Well.
So Jerry needs to get back to striking a few out here. We're going to have great scores in this one, but somebody's going to lose.
Big 10th frame here. He needs to strike out.
Gets it. Huge clutch answer for Jerry Lewandowski. He will want to keep that up. No, can't get the 7-pin, so he'll have to try to finish off the spare to post a final score.
Okay, so what he's created a situation here is Tyler's going to have to spare. Spare and 1.
Spare and 1. So all of a sudden, when it looked like Tyler might be on his way to a perfect game, and then all of a sudden he leaves a couple of pins that surprised us, and then now he's in position where you would expect he'll be able to come up with what he needs to come up with a win. A 236 for Jerry Lewandowski might not be enough. So a spare and 1 is what Sue says Tyler needs here to complete his 5th consecutive victory, a sweep of the week, and put him 1 off the record of consecutive wins on Beat the Champ heading into next week's match, where the first opponent waiting for the winner of this one is Pete Maduri. All right, he's in position to get the spare.
He would definitely just like to have a strike and get this one over with.
So the 1 pin remains, 7 pin for Tyler. Knocks that down and then gets 1 more roll when he just needs the 1 pin. First things first, pull off the spare. He's been good at that all day.
Wow.
Oh, he was a little worried there, wasn't he? There was a little hop and a little body English at play there, wasn't there? Look at the look on his face.
I'll tell you, it's probably the pin that we shoot the most, our corner pins, and the ones that are most nerve-wracking when you need one.
Boy, we'll have to ask Tyler about that because I haven't seen him hopping around and putting body English on it like that before. And there's your winner. Finishing it in grand style, Tyler comes up with a 246. So Tyler Molina wins 246 to 236. That's one of the better matches we've had in a long time. Both guys should be proud of their efforts, but Tyler Molina completes the sweep and his 5th consecutive win. Boy, that was fun.
It was. That match had a little bit of everything.
Yes, it did. We'll talk to both guys, wrap up this week's stay, get you ready for next week at Kerns Avenue. When Sue and I return, you're watching Beat the Champ. What an incredible match. 246 to 236 as Tyler Molina beats Jerry Lewandowski. Talk to me about your emotions as you're keeping pace with Tyler throughout that whole thing.
Well, you really can't think about it. You just got to go up and make your shot, and you strike. When somebody's on a roll like Tyler is right now, it's hard to, you just got to keep up with them. And I tried, but I just fell short.
Yeah, well, you did a nice job in keeping up with them. Dan, you got a little something for Jerry?
Yeah, I do. On behalf of Kerns Bowling and the Proprietors Association, I'd like to present you with this, and our sincere thanks for you competing.
Thank you.
Right. Sue, your buddy, you and Tyler are getting to know each other pretty well, aren't you?
Tyler, there's no limit to the excitement of your matches. Do you think that the college bowling and that atmosphere has helped you keep up your intensity for these matches?
I think it does help out a little bit, just because when you're in a bowling alley for college matches, I'm sure you know of bowling in college, there's just yelling and screaming 24/7. So you just kind of tune everything out and just focus on your shot, because no defense in bowling, so just focus on your good shots.
Well, you've been so solid, and it's very impressive to watch you bowl. They've been great matches. Hope you keep it going.
Yes, thank you.
All right, well, guess what? Tyler is going to keep it going because he's coming back on next week's show to try to keep this 5-match winning streak alive. Sue and I will wrap up this week and preview next week when we return on Beat the Champ. Another incredible week of bowling here at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center, and you just used the word that I think describes it best: intense.
Yeah, very high intensity matches, and it shows all that emotion and all that adrenaline help them actually keep their ball speed up and manage these conditions. So we've actually gotten great scoring conditions here.
Janelle, if this keeps up for Tyler Molina, are Argyle pants going to become a fashion trend in Western New York?
I might have to go get myself an Argyle dress, honestly.
I think we need to happen. Will that happen for Janelle next week? Well, you better tune in and see what happens. Can Tyler Molina keep the winning streak alive? The answer comes next week when you join us for Beat the Champ at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. We'll see you next week.